is going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new YouTube video. You know what the weekends mean. We got a fresh haircut, just done the food shop, so I'll show you what that consists of in just a moment. Guys, this video is going to be an absolute banger. I'm going to bring you so much value in this one today. I put up this Instagram post yesterday, and of course you've all seen it because you all follow me on every single platform ever. And it was essentially about looking after yourself when you're in a calorie deficit or restricting your calories for fat loss. And with summer just starting to peek through now, I mean, he says as the sky literally looks like this. So today's probably not the best example, but yeah, you know what I'm trying to get at. Seeing as it is on the way, a lot of people have holidays and they just want to look a little bit better for the sunny weather. So that means that a lot of people are probably going to try and cut their calories a little bit. And if you didn't know, this is something that I've done for myself a few times over the years. I went from this obese guy right here to someone who was a little bit less obese. And I didn't have a coach, didn't really have any help to do this. I just learned the hard way how to do this and achieve the results that I have. So I thought I'd share a few tips with you today. It's gonna be a great video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Let's go ahead and get into this one. First things first, this is what today's food shop is looking like. We're keeping it fresh, we're keeping it healthy. I don't know when exactly lean beef mince became a world commodity, but this cost me something like $7.50. I mean, it's 750 grams of lean steak mince. I'm not expecting it to be a miracle price, but you know, I do remember buying this for significantly cheaper. Haven't bought it in a while, but yeah, when I saw the price today, I was just like, what on earth? But a couple of ready meals, I tend to have these in the office. Fancied making a bolognese, which is exactly why I got this stuff. Just get a jar of sauce, because why not? I'm gonna throw a shit ton of mushrooms in there, so onions, loads of fresh fruit. Veg of choice of the next couple of days is going to be asparagus, so I got that in. Yogurt for the yogurt bowls. I needed toothpaste, and this sourdough, which continues to be the absolute goat of protein bread. So yeah, that is what today's food shop is looking like. Today's breakfast of choice, just 2 straight up fried eggs, which I'm just going to dome. I've got a full packet, which is 185 grams once I've trimmed them, of strawberries, and then the shake, which is a bit of a kitchen sink shake today. So I've got my regular 200 mils of oat milk, got 30 grams of whey in there, I've got a London Tropics Flow coffee, I've got 10 grams of raw cacao, and 16 grams of peanut butter powder. So yeah, I just kind of wanted something a bit lighter than usual, and this is just like straight up eggs, fruit, and the shake, so this should fit the bill for what I need. Obviously, it's not a full day of eating video, so I'm not going to bother doing a food time lapse or anything like that, so I'll catch us after this has been demolished. Okay, so the first thing I've got to say when it comes to the topic of fat loss, you don't really need advice, you don't need to use anything that I say in this video. You could quite easily just change. Nothing else, you could just change and you will over time get results. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to maximize your guarantee of success, as in if you want visible, tangible proof that you're on the right track, there are definitely some things that you can do. These are all things that over time on my channel you will have seen, but in case you've not quite connected the dots, let's go over a few of them. So if you cast your mind back to the summer shred last year and to a lot of the full day of eating videos that I do, you'll see that I generally start the day with a weigh-in, and I'll usually follow that up with a physique check. And many times throughout the day when I'm eating my food, I will keep you up to date with the calories and the macros that I'm on. And I'm not gatekeeping what I think is the most potent thing that you can do in order to maximize your guarantee of success. And that is, you need to track some measurables. You cannot regulate what you do not monitor. So for me, I'm actually starting my summer shred next week. And the first thing that I always do is create measurables. I'll ramp them up so I have as much data as possible to make sure that I'm visibly and tangibly going in the right direction. This just maximizes my control over my success. As I say, you don't need this advice, you don't need to do any of it. You could just change. And you might well get results that way, but you might not visibly and tangibly know that you're on the right track. And I think that is one of the key factors that influences people to stay on their plan or not. If they, for whatever reason, don't perceive that they're getting the results that they want to, quite quickly they'll just fall off the wagon. So make sure that you track your weigh-ins each morning after going to the bathroom. Over time, you'll develop a trend line. I'll show you some of my most recent data here, and this trend line will show you, you know, are you losing, are you maintaining, are you even gaining, and you can adjust your approach accordingly. Feels a little bit strange being in my usual physique check spot without setting up the tripod, but when it comes to, you know, actually tracking what you look like in the mirror, I just think you see your body every single day. You know, when you get in the shower, you look at yourself in the mirror, and like, it's so easy to not notice the progress that you make. And most of the time I do a video-based physique check when I make this content, but I also do photos as well. And I very strongly recommend that you do the same, because it's going to be, as I say, it's so easy for you to miss the progress. And if you perceive, without having photos to, you know, prove yourself wrong, if you perceive that you're not getting the results that you would like to see, then it can just lead you to become demotivated and just go back to square one, or potentially even worse. Whereas if you have photos, and I'll show you a few from a, you know, a recent example from myself, like, you can clearly, visibly, undeniably see that you've made progress, and there's nothing more motivating than that. And if you see that side by side, if you see a photo of you 4 weeks ago compared to now, and you can see a visible difference in what you look like, that's just going to spur you on to work even harder and stick with the process. And I understand it might be inconvenient for you to find somewhere in your home that's like, you know, suitable for you to take these photos. It might be inconvenient to, you know, set up the camera, or like even do this, or take the time to go through this entire process. But as I say, if you want to maximize your guarantee of success, then this is something that is just going to be so potent to help you get there. So make sure that you are tracking your physique in real time using photos and videos. And something that's going to influence those two things that we've just discussed is, of course, tracking your calories. And especially if this is new to you, you don't need to track your individual macros, the proteins, the carbs, the fats. You don't need to bother with that, just track your calories. And the reason that this ties in heavily to the previous 2 points is that if you're tracking your weight and your photos, and let's just say, for example, over the span of 2 weeks, your weight doesn't really change, it kind of stays quite consistent the whole way through, and the physique pictures also reflect that, like your physique hasn't really changed, odds are you might just need to drop 100 calories. You could either do that or add maybe a couple of sessions of cardio into your training plan per week. But to be honest, the way I'm structuring this video, I kind of want to do it as if someone doesn't train. If you don't train, then you could just follow these steps and you'll still be fine anyway. So you might just need to increase your calorie deficit to a small degree. Likewise, if you're tracking your calories and you feel like you're starving all the time and your weight is actually going down like fairly quickly, your physique pictures are also reflecting that. If that's the case and you're just like wildly unhappy, like you're just starving all the time, you're irritable, you're a nightmare to be around, you could probably do with increasing your calories a little bit. In my opinion, the best way to do this is to have as shallow of a deficit as possible, to make sure that you are still losing weight as a net in the long run, but you're still happy by and large with the foods that you're eating. Yes, I mean, when you are on this kind of journey, hunger to a small extent is, you know, part of the process. But for the average Joe who just wants to lose a little bit, you shouldn't be dealing with being starving and irritable all the time. So these measurables might actually help you uncover that you can increase your food, and who wouldn't want that? And so between tracking your weight measurements, tracking what you look like in the mirror or some kind of physique check, and tracking your calories, I think that's like a holy trinity for fat loss essentially. If you do those three things and regulate them and, you know, carry on with them for a consistent and long amount of time, there's no denying that you will get results. There's no possible way that you can't. But there is one more thing that kind of underlines all of these, and it's really important that this is also in place. Because if this isn't in place, I just don't think you've got much of a chance of sticking with the three things that we've spoken about. And that is the topic of the whole Instagram post that I put up yesterday, and that's just looking after yourself. I think a lot of people do underestimate how much of a toll that, you know, cutting calories does have on you, both physically and mentally. You really do feel it in a lot of ways, especially if you go into a heavier deficit. Let's be honest, the chances are if you're watching this, you're probably not a pro bodybuilder who's training for the Olympia. You're probably just a regular person who maybe has an interest in fitness and who wants to just like cut a little bit of fat. If you know me to any degree, you'll know how much health and fitness means to me in my life. But I just think enjoying life is such a huge part of that. And as much as I respect and follow a lot of those people who are in the upper echelons of bodybuilding, I know that that can never be me. It's just not my preference. Yes, of course, I want to be lean. I want to be muscular. I do have vanity-based goals, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. In fact, one of the biggest things about the transformation I've made is that I feel so much confident because I feel like I look better. And if you're in the same boat and you want to get to that level, then I can definitely help you with that, with the tips that I provided in this video. But I don't want you to just take my word for this. Literally, the next video that I upload next weekend is going to be Summer Shred episode 1. As of now, I'm planning on doing 12 weeks. That might change. I might move it to 14 or 16 weeks. But as we go through that journey, I want to show you how I utilize that holy trinity. So I will be sharing with you weight measurements, physique checks, and I'll be showing you the kind of calories that I'm doing. But I'm also going to show you in real time, and this is very important, how I look after myself during that process. So I hope you're excited as I am. I really cannot wait to get stuck into the Summer Shred again. So the opening scene for next week's video will probably be me sat on the sofa with some kind of highly caloric meal in hand. enjoying one last thing before I start my plan on Monday 16th. So yeah, can't wait to share the journey with you, and I really hope that you enjoy watching it. As for now, I'm going to wrap up this video right here. If you have any questions whatsoever about the topic of fat loss or what we've spoken about today, please leave them in the comments below. I'll make sure that I address them. Make sure you like and subscribe, because the summer shred starts next week and you don't want to miss this one. But until then, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. You could have literally been doing anything, and I'm so grateful that you chose to spend a few minutes with me. As always, have an amazing week ahead, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.